Picking up the best. Imani's original. A color above the rest. Sweet savory, every bite's divine. Bean pie's fresh every single time. Taste the magic in every slice. Come on, now don't think twice.
Assalamu alaikum. Greetings. I'm Imani Muhammad, founders of Imani's Original Bean Pies. For over a decade, I've been on a mission to create more than just desserts. I've been dedicated to bringing a taste of tradition, culture, and health to every table. Welcome to Conversations Over Pie, where we go beyond the flavors and share the stories that nourish our souls. Here, we'll gather around just like family and talk about connections between food, culture, and community, all while savoring moments that bring us together. So grab a seat, a slice of your favorite bean pie, and let's dive into a heartfelt conversation that's as rich and as warm as the pies we love. Wow, it's been a minute since we've had a live show, so I'm happy to be back. And I brought with me a guest today that I am so honored to be able to present to you and bring before you. She has dedicated her life to the things that I just talked about: culture, community, and of course, education. But I don't want to tell her story. I want her to be able to tell her story. So together with me, welcome Miss Loretta Firekeeper Hawkins.
Well, thank you very much.
Welcome.
An
Welcome.
honor to be here.
Yes, ma'am.
An honor to meet you.
Yes, it's an honor to have you here. And I don't want to waste any time. I want to get started because I want more and more of our people to know your greatness. So I want you to start by describing, just telling us about you, a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'll start with my age. I'm 84 years old, and I'm so happy to have lived such a long life. And I'm so happy to have met so many wonderful people in my life, and including your daughter. Is she your daughter? Did you say she's your daughter?
My producer?
Yes.
She's my producer and my daughter.
Yes, well, you know, she's a wonderful person. She's really, truly wonderful. And I know that you are also, because you created her. So I want to thank you for that. And as far as I am concerned, I'm just I started off as a poet. And I've been writing poetry since I was a child. My mother was a poetry lover. I come from a group of Black people who were into the arts. They knew poems, they recited. My mother woke us in the morning singing songs or reciting poems. So we loved the arts. And so I grew up, we came to Chicago with the Great Migration, and we experienced the kinds of happenings that occurred on the west side of Chicago. And I grew up on the west side of Chicago. I went to Marshall High School. I graduated from high school. I went to junior college and earned an associate degree. And then I went to Chicago Teachers College, and I earned a bachelor's degree in education. Then I went to Governor State University, and I got a master's degree in African cultures. And I got a second master's degree there in the literature, African literature. And then I got another master's degree from the University of Chicago in the humanities. So I'm a lifetime learner. I love to learn, and I love to go to school. And the only thing that's stopping me now from getting a doctor's degree is that I don't have the mentality and the know-how to deal with the technology of the day's computers and all that. So I'm stuck.
Well, I'm sure someone can help you with that. Yes, ma'am. But Tell me, you started poetry at a young age. I don't hear that a lot. I hear art, maybe graphic arts, but not poetry. So what do you think made you start so early?
I think it was my mother's influence, because, as I said, she would recite Paul Laurence Dunbar. Everybody knows the famous poem "Liza, Liza, Bless the Lord." In the morning, it was called, and she knew Dunbar and just all of the famous Black um, poets, artists of the Renaissance, the the Black Renaissance, and so
Mm,
that influenced me. When I
wow.
was a child and living in North Carolina, as soon as you could speak, you had to go to church and had to get on the stage and do something. And even if it
Mm,
was you were 2 years old and you go up and you say Jesus wept, then that's what you said. And from that point on, you were part of the church. You were part of the speaking, the performing, being part of, and especially Black history, because I come from a line of extremely, extremely Black people and extremely proud Black people.
awesome. Awesome.
Yes,
Now that's funny because my next question, I feel like you've already started answering it. And it is, as an educator, what do you believe is missing in how we teach our youth today? You kind of just touched it. That was one.
I think the main thing that is missing is that we are not teaching our youth to be polite, to be
Mm,
kind, to be caring, and to be considerate of other people. And so I see a mean spiritedness in children today. They curse each other, they call each other names. And I mean, children have always fought, throughout history, I'm sure. But the the casualness with which they insult each other is disarming to me.
mm.
Yes.
That's interesting that you say that because I think when you just mentioned how you all went to church, you had to be involved, so you dealt with other humans. I think sometimes that's missing today, and if you spending too much time and there's no balance between the technology and the human being, I
That's
can see
interesting.
a lot of things being lost.
That's
Hmm.
that's an interesting concept too. That
Hmm.
they're relating to a remote person,
Hmm.
and the teacher is not there, and they've got a machine in front of them, and that person could be anybody. And from what I'm hearing, sometimes the remote teacher is not even there. They're just getting a salary, and they're speaking to the child and not even looking at them or presenting their image to them. So
Hmm.
it becomes a situation where the child does not feel the warmth and the love of a human being.
Hmm. And see, and that's the thing that I like to do is to introduce our youth because I'm around youth pretty at least 5 days a week, if not more. And I like to introduce them to elders. I feel like when I was growing up, I was always with one of my elders, one of my grandparents. I don't care the elder in the neighborhood. I was always under someone, and you learn so much. You even pick up certain habits just from being around your elders. So
Yes.
that's the thing I like to bring back. I like to show them Loretta Firekeeper Hawkins, who's not somebody that we're talking about from the early 1900s, but from today and the great things that you're doing today and the stories that you have to tell.
Yes, I
Uh,
love telling the stories.
and I
I'm a
know
member
for the,
of Chicago Association of Black Storytellers.
yes,
It's called Ashe, and I'm
Ashe.
also a company member for Collaboration Theater, which is a white. It started off. It was a white company, theatrical company, and their uh, mission was to eradicate racism. through the arts and through theater. And so I joined them. I'm also was a member of POET, POET, People of
Yes.
Extraordinary Talent, with
Hmm.
Black Ice as the leader there. And
Yes.
several other, Bam, I can't think of his last name right, Stratton. He has a platform called Forgive Us. And he's a very religious-based poet. And
Hmm.
he have me performing periodically when he's in town. So
Hmm.
I'm a member of many groups of people, and I love them all, and I love the fact that all of them are not necessarily religious based, but loving based. They love humanity, they love each other, and there's no mean spiritedness. There's no we're going to do this to somebody. It's like, how can we help somebody? How can we learn? How can we get our children more more advanced? How can we
Hmm.
advance our children?
Hmm.
Okay, and I am I am in awe of Black people. I will tell anybody that I'm in awe
Yes.
of Black people. The Black people are awesome. Okay,
And you are
for
awesome
many
because that's
reasons.
how when we met you, it was myself and two other, what I call hardcore brothers in the neighborhood, being manly men, and you were able to break all three of us down. I'm gonna
Oh,
tell
you
you
were there?
in a good way. No, remember when we met at the quarry? That was myself and two other brothers, the chef,
Yeah.
and you said a poem for us. And
Yes.
from after that moment, you had us. I'm gonna say we were just in love with you.
Well, thank
Um,
you. Thank you.
yes, man.
I told someone that story today because she said, well, how do these people know you? And so I told her the story. I said, we were having a repast there, and they were the
Right.
people who were controlling. And are you the person who I was signing the contract with?
So I think I was there. So at that time, I was helping them with that. So I think so. Yes. And
And
then
I was
yeah, it was.
telling her,
Hmm.
yeah, I said, I said, somehow I might have mentioned I couldn't do something because I had a performance, and they said, what kind of performance? I said,
Right.
I'm a spoken word artist, and they said, well, let me hear you say something, and I said, okay, and I started saying Black Like Me, and they said,
Yeah.
wait, we got to get, and I said, and they got everybody in there to come out and listen to my poem, and
Hmm.
uh, and I was told we would like to give you an award or something. And I said, okay. And I threw it out of my mind. I never thought about it again. So I was shocked and amazed when Imani called me and she said, do you remember me? I said, yes, I remember you. And I remember that story. I was very pleased and happy that someone liked that poem.
Oh yes. And I don't know if that's the poem you'll be reciting next month. So I don't want to give it away if it is.
Okay. Well, it
But I
is.
do want to talk about, I do recall saying, oh, you would be a perfect honoree for Empress Menen Day. I was saying this to myself. So I asked you, would you like to be? And here we are now in 2026. And on April 25th, we will be honoring you at our Empress Menen Day
So
event.
you are the person to whom I owe this honor. You are the
Well,
person. I
we
was
owe
thinking
it
it
to
was your
God.
daughter, but it was you.
Hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Hmm.
Well, I'm so
Oh,
pleased to meet you
you
and
said you thought it
honored.
was someone else?
Yeah, I thought it was your daughter. I thought it was Imani.
I'm Imani. I look different.
Yeah, you
I look
do.
different. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. Okay, you're Imani.
Yes, ma'am.
I see your name there.
So the audience would know we do a lot of talking over the phone, right?
Okay.
But we haven't really been seeing each other since what, last summer?
Yes.
See,
Yes, it was. It was maybe, yeah, it was like May. May. It was
right,
probably May.
right. So
May.
people don't think, wait, she didn't even know. Yeah, we talk over the phone, but we have not seen each other.
Oh
So
my
this is
goodness.
I see you all the time because I'm looking at you on YouTube or something like that. Like I said,
Okay.
we just yeah. Hmm.
Well, I'm
So
happy. I want to thank you because you followed through on what you said, and this is a great honor for me
yes,
to have someone to appreciate the poetry.
yes. And I was
Thank
going
you
to
so
ask
much.
you, what does being honored in this way mean to you? Like being, I know you know a little bit about Empress Menon as well, and the event that we have in honoring artists, educators, people like yourself, mothers, you know.
Hmm. Yes,
So what does this mean to you?
it means a whole lot. It means a lot because it's almost like a culminating experience for me, being my age, and to have
Hmm.
someone in such a large organization to honor me, to recognize me, to appreciate the work that I've done, and honor me for it. So it means everything. You
Okay.
know, if I don't get another reward or anything in life, this is it. This is it.
Yes, I heard Stephanie Hart talk about being honored at the Legacy Awards a couple weeks ago, and she talked about the honor of being honored amongst your people. She
Yes,
just said that just hit totally different, you know.
yes, absolutely.
So I'm glad, but I forgot to read the comments that are coming in, and someone said, "Shout out to the Governor State University community."
Okay,
Um,
okay.
so
Yes,
yeah, so you'll know my daughter is currently at Governor State,
really.
seeking her one is seeking their master's degree, and the other daughter is there getting her undergrads.
Wow.
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
impressed.
And so
You
yes,
know,
yes.
Amani, I have been so fortunate in life. Um, I was teaching, and I think and when I teach, whatever I do, I just my mother always said when Black people do things, they just do it to death. You know, they just do it. And so I was teaching, and I was just so tired, and because I was just up all night grading papers, I was just tired, and so I decided I would take a break, and I would go to. And when I looked to see what kind of break I could take, they said, "Oh, you could take a break and go to school, and we will save your place with the Board of Education." So I said, "Good, I'll do that." At that time, that was in the 70s. Um, Governor State was new, and they were innovative, and they they were ungraded, so you didn't get grades.
Hmm.
And I love that because that allowed me to concentrate on learning rather than trying to
Hmm.
get a grade based on what someone assigned me to do. For instance, one class I took was African American literature. No, African literature. And I said, I'm going to read. At that time, most African literature books were written in African languages. And Chinua
Mm.
Achebe was the first person who came along with Things Fall Apart, and he wrote
Yeah.
his in English. So that was one of the first African books written in English. And so I made it my goal to read all of the books that were written in English by African writers. Well, of course, I didn't read them all, but I did read some. And we had to write a paper, and I wrote a paper. And I was very fortunate because um, I sent the paper to New York, and they said, "Oh, we don't do that. You have to send it to Africa. Send it to Africa."
Mm.
Um, and so I sent it to Africa, and the professor at the University of, I'm not even sure now, loved the paper that I wrote for at Governor State, and he published it. And they published in
Wow.
African Literature Today. And
Mm.
I said, okay, that's nice. And then later I discovered that what I wrote was being repeated and read by professors all over the world in the academic community. They were calling me Dr. Hawkins, and I kept saying, I'm not a doctor. And then I looked to see the book I was published in. Everybody on there was a doctor except me, you know. And so
Mm.
that was lucky for me. And then and they gave me a scholarship. And so I didn't pay one dime. I walked around when I got there and I looked on, I'm looking for money. And so I'm looking at all the little papers, and they said, if you have a a talent, that's what they call it. If you have a talent that's not academic, we will give you a scholarship. So I said, wow, I said, I'm a poet. I can maybe apply for that. So I typed up some poems, I put them together in a little folder, and I submitted it. They gave me a full scholarship. I got the
Wow.
master's degree free of charge. And
Praise
I
God.
got it in 6 months because grade free. I said, wow, that was fun. I said, I'm going to do it again. So, because now I had just the degree in literature, the master's in literature. So I said, I'm going to do it again. So I typed up some more poems and I submitted it. And they said, no, you already gave you a scholarship in poetry. No. So I says, okay. So I wrote um, a book of short stories, and I submitted that. They gave me another full scholarship, free,
Wow.
and I was happy about that. And what was nice was each time you got another degree, you moved up the rank with the Board of Education. They had 5 levels, and the last level was doctors. So, like I said, I never got the doctors. I was disappointed in me because after I got the degree from the University of Chicago, I said, I want to get a doctorate degree in anthropology. That's
Mhm.
been my love, anthropology, learning about different people all over the world. And
Wow.
so this was the days before you used the internet and all of that. So it was a paper kind of application. And so I went and I got the application to get start working on a degree in anthropology. And do you know what the requirements were?
To
You
write.
had to have, in order to get in their program for anthropology at the University of Chicago, you had to speak Spanish or
Oh,
French and Russian or German.
wow.
That was the qualification. Now, what
Mm.
does that tell you? How many Black people
They,
walk around
they
speaking
didn't.
Russian or
That's right.
German?
Or German.
Yeah. So I
Yep.
was so angry. I said, this is a form of discrimination here. There's no reason why I should have to speak Russian or German in order to work on a degree in anthropology, nor should I have to speak one of those 2 languages. So I said, but I'm not going to be defeated. So I said, I did study French when I was in high school. I
Mhm.
graduated early in high school, so I only had 3 years of it. But I said, I know a little French, maybe I can pass with the French. I said, but I'll learn the German. So I went out and I bought the tapes, and I put them in my car. I was teaching now. I put the tapes in my car, and as I was going to work, I'm listening to these tapes in German. And then
Wow.
one day I'm driving to work, and all of a sudden they were speaking German, and I understood it. It was like I understood what he said. They taught German the same way they had taught French in high school. You learn the verbs, you learn to congregate the verbs, you learn, the vocabulary. So I did that until finally The Chicago Board of Education mandated that we teach the Holocaust. And so I started teaching the
Interesting.
Holocaust. Yes, it was. It was interesting. So I started teaching the Holocaust, and I became so disenchanted with Germans that I said, why am I trying to learn this guttural language anyway? So I stopped, and I had no more interest. And I was so disappointed with, because when I got it, like I said, when I do something, I go all in. I was teaching at that time high school, and so I wanted my children to read the novel Night by Eli Etchell. Oh, wow. It's been so
Mhm.
long. But I wanted them to
Mhm.
read the novel Night. And I went to the principal and I told him I'd like my students to read this novel Night. It's written by a man who was in a concentration camp. His parents and his family was all killed. And so after he lived, he wrote this book called Night. And so the principal said, oh, we don't have any money for anything like that. We can't buy those books. So I went to a bookstore and I told them that I wanted to buy those books. And I said, I'd like for you to sell them to me at cost. And they said, okay. And they sold me the books very cheaply, I think for maybe like $10 a piece. And I bought
Mhm.
the books and I took them back to the school and I gave them to the children. They had to pay me $10 for their book. And then I developed the vocabulary. We learned the vocabulary because some of the words were in German. And then I started teaching. We started reading the book. Once you start reading Night, you can't put it down. And those kids
Mhm.
could not put the book down. And one day we were in the assembly hall, and they had a big show going up on the stage, and you could see my students all in the audience holding up a book like this. And so
Mhm.
when it was over, the principal called me in and she said, I noticed your students were not even watching the show. They were all reading a book. Did they have a deadline? I said, no, they have until the end of the semester to read the book. She said, well, they were all reading the book instead of watching the show. I said, when you read that book, you cannot put it down. You cannot. It's called Night. And
Mhm.
I recommend it for anybody. Eli Vetsu.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And that it looked like we have some viewers that can make sure. We'll make sure we put it in the comments. Yes, Fareed, Brother Mandine, Brother Assad. I see you all. Thank you. They said it's a excellent show. And but I wanted to get like, because I'm looking at our time, we're about 30 minutes in, and I was going to ask you if you had your book, and I saw that you held it up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm going to skip. We can come back. I wanted to talk a little bit about your history because you're saying you're an educator, but we did not mention that you taught for 30 years, right?
42.
42 years.
Yes, maybe it was that year when I published a book or something, but actually,
Mhm.
I at the time, it was that number of
Was
years. But
was that
I, I,
CPS?
I taught I taught everywhere. I taught two colleges, I taught two high schools, and I taught some elementary schools.
Oh wow, great.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you for your service. And thank you for putting up the fight because I see that it's not easy to do what you did. At least now it isn't. I don't know about back then, but to introduce books and to introduce certain things, they're trying to cut so many things away from our youth today that it's a little bit difficult. It's almost as if we're, sneaking to teach
yes,
again.
absolutely. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, so we have to be careful. Um, there's a brother, the brother with his name is eluding me just this moment, but he has the bookstore on 87th Street. Been there for many years. Over
Yeah,
east.
he was carrying my books. I
Okay.
took my books in there for him to
Yeah, but
carry.
he was having a conversation with us and sharing that if you buy all your books online. You have no control of your knowledge now. Like me, I have books. I have books everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Physical books. But if I had all of my books in this phone and they cut my phone or they cut the website that was holding my books, now I have
Mm-hmm.
no more knowledge.
Oh, really? You, how many books have you authored?
Meaning offer. No, I'm saying he was saying that if you don't, like, say you're buying books nowadays, the way people are buying books is it's in a PDF on their phone.
Oh,
So
I
you
see
have
what you're
no
saying.
control of your books now,
Oh, yeah, I would never
right?
do that. I want the
That means
physical book.
somebody can press a button and you won't have any more of your knowledge.
Okay.
And I like that he pointed that out to, because young people need to understand that sometimes, people could think it's convenient. Every book I want to read is right here in this phone. If I'm on the airplane, I just pull out my phone. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
in the car, I just pull out my phone. That's good, but you need to have books.
Okay.
Real.
There's one issue I'd like to discuss briefly if we have the time.
Yes, ma'am.
We have the time.
I
The
think so.
black codes. The black codes. I don't know how many people are familiar with the black codes. Slavery ended in 1865, and a war had been fought. The South was devastated. They had lost people. They had lost their slaves, their property. They had no way to make money. So in 1865, the same year that slavery ended, Mississippi wrote up a set of laws called the Black Codes, CODES. And
Mhm.
those laws determined everything that was going to happen to Black people going forward. It was not slavery that devastated us. It was the Black Codes that devastated
Mhm.
us, because the laws were written not to um, not to be just. The laws were written to make sure that Black people were in jail, were arrested. And so, to give you an example, the first rule, they call it the um, it'll come to me. Okay, the first rule was
Mhm.
every Black person, man and woman, 18 to 80, had to pay a tax of $1 a year for being Black.
Mhm.
Well, this was supposed to happen 1 year after slavery ended. Well, the problem is the slaves had worked all their lives without pay. They did not have $1. And so, sure enough, 1 year later, in 1886, Black people were arrested by the tens, by the hundreds, by the thousands, by the millions, arrested for not having
Mhm.
$1 for being Black. And so the
Mhm.
purpose was not to get the $1. The purpose was that at that time, the sheriff was not salaried. He got his money because every time he arrested someone, he was given $5. And
Mhm.
then you had to have a witness, and the witness had to be white. And the witness got $2 to to the pretense of, I'm the witness and I saw this Black person break this law. And the witness had to be
Mhm.
white. And some people became professional witnesses. They go around finding a Black person and say they did this, they did that, and they get $2. That's how they made their living.
Mhm.
And the they would arrest the Black person, and then when they go to court, the Black person, the clerk would get $2. So now you have $5 for the sheriff, $2 for the witness, and $2 more for the clerk. So now the Black person who is arrested because they didn't have $2 to pay their um, their tax for being Black, now
Mhm.
they owed maybe whatever they owed. Any white person could come to the courts, pay their fine, and take that black person with them to their farm to work off that pay. And they could use corporal punishment. And so there was a book written about this phenomenon called Slavery by Another Name. And this was written by a white man, by the way. And his name is Douglas Blackmon, not black man, Blackmon. And he got a Pulitzer Prize for writing this book about how black people were then really taken back into slavery. Okay, to give you some examples, a black person walking alongside of a railroad track, you were arrested because they were afraid you might get on the train and leave. They didn't want you to leave. They needed you. They needed you so they could arrest you and make some money off of you. A black person was arrested if they spoke too loudly in public. A black person was arrested if they did not call a white man sir and a white woman ma'am. A black person was arrested if they had a job that they did not like and then they quit. And we saw this in that movie, The Help, where they were so afraid because if they lost their job, if the white person fired you, you had to pay them back all the money that you had made that year. You had to pay it back to them and you would be arrested. So this is what ended up causing black people to lose our wealth. They stole our wealth this way. And it's on the internet. You can go Mississippi Black Codes, and the vagrant it's called the vagrancy law that they use to imprison us. This is when mass incarceration first began. Michelle Alexander, who wrote The New Jim Crow, stated that in 2010, when she wrote her book, there were more black males locked up in jails than there were in 1865 slaves. There are more slaves. So now they're not slaves anymore, but they're locked up in jail.
Wow.
So I wrote a poem about that situation called Procreate. You want to hear some of it?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
It goes like this. Look at me. Can't you see? I'm as mad as an MF can possibly be because I'm still not free. Now, I'm not hanging from a tree like in the old days, but I'm still being killed anyways in these new days. And in these new days, a bullet's cheaper than a rope. And the real dope is that they're aiming for my heart because that's the only part that is vital to my life. And in the strife, the goal is to make me free. To make me dead. Because they're afraid of what I'm carrying in my jeans and what's hanging in between my legs. So I cannot procreate and make another me. Look at me. Can't you see? It's the melanin I carry, and it's also scary to them. So they lock me in the jails and they overcrowd the cells. And because I'm a sexual creature, the most important feature of their plan is to ensure that my sperm, which they consider a wretched germ, is injected only into another male whose body's locked up with mine on a jail cell. And I can tell that this creates with certainty it won't create another me. Now, I'm not homophobic, can't you see? I'm just dwelling in the essence of reality, where two sperms can never make another me. There's just no way that can be that I can see. But if I'm dead or in a cell, I cannot procreate and create another me. My unborn generations are surely doomed. My lonely sperm will never find a womb. Might as well.
Oh. So, okay. So we see what happened here, right?
They were whatever, because they could not procreate, because they could not associate, because they were dead. And I'm afraid that they'll kill me or lock me in a cell. It's all the same, this ancient game of making sure I cannot procreate and create another me. Can't you see? It's like the old rope and tree. They have modernized lynching me so I cannot procreate and make another me. That's that piece.
It's that piece. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That piece was so powerful. That piece was so powerful that it caused a mix up in the like there was a pause in there, but that's okay. My okay. My producer was giving me some instructions there.
Okay.
But that was so powerful that there was a pause in it. And I thought it was going to freeze for good, but it was a small freeze in there.
Mm-hmm.
But for those that didn't get that, you
Mm-hmm.
can go back and listen to it on YouTube, or you can come to Empress Men Day event where community comes together for free. We feed you not just food, but lots of knowledge and stories like Ms. Hawkins has just given us. And you're going to do that powerful piece. This was powerful. If anybody, I
Okay.
don't know if people got it, but was powerful. She has so much more to offer, and she's going to share with us on April 25th. You see the flyer right now. Save the date, take a picture of it, go to Empress Men and Chronicles. I would suggest you RSVP because we've already filled up about halfway, and we could fit comfortably a couple hundred people. And people are excited, as they should be. This has really
Well,
been an honor for
thank you.
me. If you don't mind me saying, Mama Loretta, there's been another freeze, but hopefully she could hear me. This is truly, and can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, there was a freeze there, but
Yes.
this has truly been an honor, and I'm just grateful to meet you and that you take my calls
Yes.
and
I enjoy talking
that
with
you
you.
share. But we can't leave here without talking about your book, because you have a book of powerful poems like this.
Okay. The book is here. It's
Yes,
called The Way We Be. The Way We Be.
the
Okay.
way we be.
The Way We Be. And I use that name because it's interesting how we as Black people, we have changed the language. Okay, we speak differently, and other people are trying to copy off of it, but they cannot always imitate the way we speak. We use the word be, which is the most irregular verb in English language. We make it regular. So instead of saying, for instance, let me just read this short poem, real, if it's okay.
Okay,
It's
yes.
called We Be. We Be. I be, you be, he, she, it be, we be, you be, they be. How simple, how understandable. But teachers say, I can't be. I have to am. You have to are. And he and she is. And we, pardon me, I have to am. You have to are. And he is. And she, we like you have to are. But they, of course, being plural, are too. But teachers don't understand that all the time, me, my mama, pa, all of us, we be. And so we do. We say, we be going to the store, we be watching TV. That's what we say, right?
I know I do.
And Beyonce said we be all night, okay? So we
Yeah.
be. So that's why I wrote that. We say we be.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and so
So
this is the book.
so someone wants to know, where can this be purchased? Is this
It can be purchased on Amazon right now. I'm going to try to find another publisher because they have stopped. Apparently, I published 5 books with them, and they have stopped carrying my books for some reason, even though they were being bought. And I look on the internet and I see my books being sold in countries where I don't even know what language they're speaking. I don't know what country it is, but my
Mm-hmm.
books are being sold there, and
So
but they
does
stopped publishing them. You can buy them, but they charge you maybe like $20 or something, or
okay. Can
So
they be purchased at the underground? Does does our
no,
brother?
I haven't brought any in there in a long time. So I'd have to go in there and tell them. But see, when I say they stop publishing them, they do not allow me to buy them at the price for the author. They want me to pay the price of if I were the customer. So I'm going to
Mm,
republish all my books. I'm going
that's
to take
right.
my books. I have 3 books of poetry. I'm
Hmm.
going to combine them and post them
Hmm.
all as one book.
Okay, and
That's what
that's
I intend to
how
do.
that's where many of our younger people. I know we have a lot of people online here that can help with that. That we can
Wow.
publish our own things now. We have all types of AI tools and things that we could use to publish our own books. We have black printers. Um, my printer, I use Printing on 83rd and Stony Island. We got WDB Printing company.
Okay.
Where we were just at the Legacy Awards Gala that they had the other week. So we could definitely, this is what Baba was talking about at Underground Books, them trying to take control of our books. Of course, they would
Mhm.
shut that down. Why would they want anyone to read the type of poems that you're talking about and making us think? They don't want us to think. They
Right.
want us to continue to play video games,
Right.
right?
Or talk about sex and music.
Exactly. So
Mhm.
we definitely gonna make sure that we're looking into that. I know there's someone on the line that can, even if you see it later, or you want to just DM me and just somebody that could help with that.
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
I because I have the short stories that I wrote. I want to publish them, and I want to take all my poetry books. I've got 3. One is called The Way We Be. The other one is called These Shoes, and it's a tribute to Harriet Tubman. And the
Oh
third one
wow.
is a book called whatever. I can't even think of it
Hmm.
right now.
Yes, ma'am. You got so much.
Okay.
So I know we gotta bring this to a close, and I definitely wanted to. How can people learn more about Loretta Firekeeper Hawkins?
Well, you could follow me. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, and I'm on Instagram, but primarily I'm on Facebook. You
Mhm.
can learn more about the best way to follow me is if you go to type who is Loretta Firekeeper Hawkins and then go to the artificial mode. They'll say artificial mode, press that. And it will tell you everything about it. It'll tell you who my grandfather was. It'll tell
Wow.
you who my children
Wow.
are. It'll tell you what books I have, what the books mean. It'll analyze
Mhm.
them. So it will tell you a lot about
Yeah.
Loretta Firekeeper Hawkins.
And I'm telling you, in an hour's time, does it even feel like we've been talking for almost an hour now?
No, it doesn't. Not at
See, and
all.
in an hour's time, it's so much we didn't even touch on. Like, you have brilliant children. We haven't even talked about that. And like you said, they can Google you and see all of this. Your story from about your father, your grandfather,
Mhm.
yeah, right?
Yes.
And
Yes,
the
my
split
great
in your
grandfather.
right, your great grandfather.
Mhm.
So you can Google her and actually learn all of these things. But I would love to have you come back again another time and we
Oh,
really
thank
go
you.
live and we can really just talk about whatever you like. If we want to just talk about the history, because really what I feel like today is what you just told us about the Mississippi Black Code was priceless. And
Thank you.
I would urge, and I know I'm gonna go back, listen to that, look it up, and do some research as well.
Thank
So
you.
I thank you for that.
Thank you.
I
I
thank you
thank
for your
you
time.
for
Mhm.
all that you've done for me. And I love you and I appreciate you. I
Oh,
respect you. And keep on keeping on, young lady. Keep on
yes,
keeping
ma'am.
on.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. I love you too. And I was going to ask you a question, something like, if you could sum your life up in a slice of pie, what kind of pie would it be?
I don't know. I don't know what kind of pie it would be. I would just know that I love the life I've lived. I love the life
Mm,
I've lived. And I will one day probably talk about my childhood, which was horrible, but I survived it. And I
wow.
learned then as a child that what doesn't kill you will make you stronger. And I'm as strong as I can be.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Again, thank you. Thank
Okay.
you. And thank you all for listening and watching. And we'll definitely be playing this. It's on YouTube. Anybody could go back and look at it. So I want to let you know that. And we'll see you all on April 25th. If you really want to meet Miss Loretta Hawkins live, and we'll be at the Charles Hayes Center on 49th and Wabash, talking about, you're going to learn so much about Empress Menen and just food, family, culture, lots of fun. And it's the way I celebrate my birthday, my birth
Oh,
anniversary, because I'll never have another birthday, but my birth anniversary every year. So, yep, see you all then.
well, that's the same day for your anniversary?
Well, it's my
Your
birthday is
birthday?
like 2 days prior to. My birthday is on
Okay.
the 23rd. But yeah,
Okay.
it's the
Okay.
way I tell my family and friends to come out every year and we could get together.
Okay, I want to apologize to you because I was saying the people did you did not have a thing there for people to um RSVP, and I
Hmm.
didn't realize that you were supposed to take. My daughters told me that you were supposed to take that thing there, that whatever it was, and
And,
and type it
and
in
click it.
to the
Yes.
computer, and it will bring it up. So
Oh,
I
okay. Yeah.
discovered that. So I'm still learning at this
Yes,
old
ma'am.
age.
We all gonna learn forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And we thank you. We thank you for taking this hour of your time and teaching us. Um,
Okay.
Yep. And so thanks everyone for watching. As I greet you in peace and paradise, we'll see you again, hopefully on next week. Assalamu
Mm-hmm.
alaikum.
That's like
Picking up the best. Imani's original. A color above the rest. Sweet, savory, every bite's divine. Bean pies fresh every single time. Taste the magic in every slice. Come on, now don't think twice.